Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. By the way, there's a link at the bottom of the screen, tenkars-tavern.games/DTRPG. This will take you to Drive Through RPG. It's the affiliate link. If you spend a little money, you make a little coin. That's how you can support this channel. One of the many ways you can support. You can also like, subscribe, the whole nine yards. So, what's going on? We got news. Mayfair Games to return. Where have we heard that before? I don't know. From WebSphere, and I did not realize this, but apparently ICV2 allows you to submit press releases. So, if you're in my audience and you haven't done so, and you've got something important coming up, why don't you give them your official announcements? Make them your free PR. WebSphere Incorporated will launch a line of games under the Mayfair Games trademark and shield logo. You can see that shield logo right there on the screen. The company announced. Mayfair ceased operations after selling its assets, including a controlling interest in Lookout Games, to Asmodee Group in 2018. So I would assume that would mean Rolaids and everything else that came out from Mayfair is now controlled by Asmodee. So this is name only? Wow, that sounds familiar. And by the way, WebSphere, why does WebSphere sound familiar? Well, they are the ones that picked up Flying Buffalo Incorporated, Tunnels and Trolls, I guess Nuclear Assault, Mercenary Spies, and Private Eyes, upon the death of Rick Loomis. Now they just recently flipped that over to, I believe, Rebellion. So, but I guess they still want to publish. They own a couple of other holdings. But this is interesting, right? With the trademarks abandoned, WebSphere filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office to register and begin using the marks for hobby game products. Sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know where else we could have seen anybody pick up an expired trademark and then claim to be the original trademark holder, because this is not a return of Mayfair Games. This is not Mayfair. Mayfair ceased to exist. This is a new Mayfair. With no objections filed during the comment period, WebSphere received notices of allowances from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office from Mayfair Games and the Shield logo by January 31st, 2023. The new Mayfair Games LLC, new. Again, if it's new, it's not a return. Just pointing it out. Began operations on December 2nd, 2022, and has been evaluating new projects and products with publishers and designers since then. The company plans to announce its initial releases, which will be made available through distributors and retailers soon. Larry Rosnai, who was president of Mayfair Games when it sold its assets to Asmodee, remember, this is just picking up the trademarks, bless the new incarnation. I'm happy to see Mayfair Games is coming back. He said, I'm looking forward to seeing what games are coming back into print. But there's no games attached to this. So, Larry, I guess you don't understand how trademark works. Okay. WebSphere President John Huston explained his motivation for the project. Growing up, Mayfair Games were a staple at our house. The journey ahead is as much a personal passion as it is a business venture. I cannot wait to share what we have in store. WebSphere Incorporated owns game publisher Toy Vault, jigsaw puzzle manufacturer Michezo, hobby supply manufacturer Plathos, and autism and special needs toy manufacturer Mevia. It acquired Flying Buffalo in 2021. And you can go. I'll link the article so you can go to the original. Flying Buffalo RPG properties later went to Rebellion. So, there is a comment that I would like to see. This is over on the Piazza has a thread on this. I'll also link to the Piazza thread. But I want to show something. I think it's an interesting comment. This is by Alan Varney. Alan Varney's been in the industry for a number of years. Alan, WebSphere is the outfit that bought Flying Buffalo's assets, did nothing with them for 2 years, and then, by the way, start telling people if you had a gentleman's contract with FBI, it's now over, stop publishing third-party material for TNT, and recently sold them off to Rebellion. This is merely a claim on the abandoned trademark Mayfair games. There's no Rolades, no train games, no nothing. The press release is Mayfair Games to return, but this is just jacking up the name and sliding in a completely new entity underneath. Exactly. This Mayfair coup reminds me of the brand Atari games. That name has been handed off through a long, long sequence of owners. Each new owner is ever more remote from any of the company's original DNA. Yet, each new owner publishes games under the Atari label, as if sharing the legacy of Pong and Centipede. Stolen valor. Perhaps. But we've seen that before, right? Uh, can you claim to be a company when you have nobody of import from the original company? When that company ceased existing, in one case, I don't know, 25 years prior, can you really claim to be that company? This case is about a 5-year gap. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. Now, I'm not saying that like maybe Mayfair can actually, I don't know, license back some of its properties from Asmodee. I don't know. I don't know if I really care. Mayfair Games does not have that oomph that other game companies whose trademarks might be expiring might have. But it does go to show you that these old trademarks, people think there's value in them. And that's because we have a lot of nostalgia. Our age group, I'm 55, we remember when Mayfair was publishing Rolades, when that was this, for me, nearly official supplements for D&D, AD&D. But I don't have so much nostalgia that I'm going to pretend that this is the same company. So, folks, tell me what you think. And by the way, there was a shout out to me on this thread on the Piazza. And yes, I will start digging. I will try to find out some more information on this. There's some information on the trademark acquisition that's interesting. I got to read into it a little bit deeper, do a little bit of my own research. But I should have a follow up on this before long. Folks, as always, be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, roll them well. I'll be back again tomorrow, July 4th. We were hoping to have a little bit of a backyard barbecue, but as we're going to have rain apparently from like 11 to 7, yeah, I don't think so. I don't have one of those backyards with an awning to have any I'll just have everything wet and dripping, so it kind of defeats the purpose. All right, folks. On that note, I'll be back tomorrow. Laters.